What's up, everybody? This is Blevins with Talkbox Live, and Mr. Caruso is back in the house with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Blevins. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, I can't complain. If I did, nobody would give us crap.
No, you're 100% right there, my friend.
And today we have Mrs. Is it Mrs. or Miss?
It's Mrs.
Mrs. Tara Lynch. Blues player, blues singer, phenom. She's a beast. So let's hear it for her.
Okay.
Only us can do it in front of you.
I'm confused by the blues reference. I think I don't know who you're talking about there. It's
well, I mean, I hear it. I mean,
where
in some things.
Okay, maybe
it sure as hell ain't in the title, because that right there does not say blues at all.
No, it's metal actually, and it's based in classical music. There's like no blues.
I compare you to a female Ingve.
That's usually what I hear.
Is that a fair comparison?
I would never call myself that. I would never do that, but I hear that a lot. I hear Joe Satriani a lot. I hear,
but stylistically though,
I hear a lot that I'm compared a lot to the Scorpions and Dio and Ozzy and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and stuff like that.
Nice. Okay,
but it's got nothing to do with the blues.
Well,
you won't find me in a blues box called a pentatonic scale on this whole record, not for a minute.
No worries.
I don't live there. I live somewhere in the, I don't know, Phrygian Minor or something or other. Whatever the hell it's called that I do. It sounds good. I ain't knocking the blues. I love the blues, but
there you go. Well, you remind me of,
Bonnie Raitt. Why? Because of my hair?
No, heck no.
I don't mean to kick you in the jock or anything, but I've never referred to blues before in my life. That's just impossible. There's no blues on my record, like at all.
I can attest to that.
It's all right.
What did you do? Drop all your stuff?
I had a whole stack of discs behind me, and I
thought it was a new dance. I was just enjoying it.
Yeah, no. Whole stack of discs behind me, and they just went toppling over. So anyway. Hold on.
So anyway, You just got back from overseas.
I did.
Tell us how that went.
It was fantastic. It was a very successful. I'd played in Europe before, so I've toured there, a couple of times before. So I know that I had some appeal over there. I really didn't know and wasn't prepared for the kind of response that I got. It was phenomenal. A lot more than I expected, which is great news. I mean, a lot of people showing up with my shirts on before I ever went on stage and already knowing the material and singing along, and it was fantastic. Yeah,
that's awesome. Awesome. So you had what, 2 runs here, I guess, with Last in Line that I saw.
Well, but I've been out with them. I don't know, at least half a dozen times, I think, over the years.
So when I came the first time to see you, I was not prepared for you at all. Was very, very pleasantly surprised with what I heard. So when you came the second time here just recently to JD Legends,
it was JD Legends. Okay,
I had my shirt, and I was ready to rock at that point because I knew what I was expecting. Yeah. So I think the folks in Europe that had seen you before were kind of on the same page that I was this last time.
And then the new fans that I picked up along the way also. I mean, just so dedicated and fantastic. I mean, my meet and greet after each show it took forever. It was amazing. but I was like, holy crap. I mean, the queue of people was just, whew.
And which is pretty cool because you haven't been doing this all too terribly long, have you?
Not really. I mean, well, this was, the ninth time I've gone on tour, but the tours have been, few and far between and not as long. I did the tour with UFO. That was a month, and that was UK and Ireland, and I was I don't know, 5 or 6 countries there. This was at least that many on this run. And then I've done like little tours with Last in Line throughout the United States. I've done I've played a festival in Virginia, the headlined a stage there. I went on right before the Offspring, and then on my stage it was headlining, and they were right next door. And then I did the Megadeth Mega Cruise also. So I did one of those cruises. I've done quite a lot actually, but yes, in a short time. Yeah.
Yeah, because how long have you been playing now? You told me. What's that?
I've been packing it in. Well, professionally, how long have I been playing, or how long have I been playing in general?
No, just professionally.
Professionally, I'm going to say, well, I released my album in 2018. So prior to that, I recorded on a Belgian band called Beyond the Labyrinth. They were working on their 4th album, and they had heard me play on one of those cruises for fun, and were like, whoa, and asked me to come and do some guest solos on their record, Art of Resilience. So I did that. I want to say that was 2015. So that was like the first professional thing that I decided to do. And then
6-7 years tops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you've got, and what I saw anyway, just a few times that I've seen you and whatnot, and then what I've been reading from the internet and stuff. I mean, you've got a great following built up in this last 6-7 years.
Oh yeah,
well, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, it blew my mind. I show up to do a show in Slovakia. I'm opening for Vinnie Moore, of course, and these guys came in with Tara Lynch shirts on that I do not sell. They made them at home. They got
that's
my
awesome.
and took a picture of me off the net, and it was the cutest thing I'd ever seen. It was amazing, sitting right up front, and I was just like, so whatever I'm doing it right.
Yeah, very cool.
It's working. It's good, and I'm glad that people enjoy my music as much as I enjoy playing it for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
So Blevins here is a musician. He plays and sings in his own band, so he's kind of more up on these kind of things than I am. But I'm just a fan. I mean, I go to the shows and I do the thing, and that's my thing. He gets more on the technical side of shit. He understands, what you're saying a hell of a lot more when you're talking about playing this in a certain chord through this, box through, and so on and so forth. I'm just like, yeah, that sounds fucking cool. Do it again.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But you know everything about everything.
To me, shit.
He's trunk.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, so you did the stint with Last in Line, and of course Vivian Campbell's going out to do that whole big stadium thing, so that kind of put the end to that for now. And then
that's been every year they've ever existed. So Viv has always split his time between Def Leppard and Last in Line. So if Def Leppard's on tour, they take their break, and then the Last in Line guys, Andrew goes and does what he does by himself, and Vinny does his, Mob Rules or whatever, his drum wars with his brother, whatever he's doing. Phil does what he does. I mean, they all just go off and do their own thing, and then they come back together, usually in the fall, and continue some more dates. And that's exactly what they're going to do this year too. So.
Right. And then you picked up and went to Europe with Vinnie Moore, like guitar virtuoso Vinnie Moore, like that. So that had to be really. Now, is he? So I know Vinnie, obviously, but was he an inspiration or anything to you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Playing with one of your heroes, and I guess in a way.
Oh yeah, I mean, take the fact that we're personal friends. Put that aside. If I could go back to 1987 and tell myself, oh my God, look what you're going to be doing in the future, and he's one of my great friends. So, I mean, the whole thing is fantastic, but absolutely just take the friendship out of it and just go back and tell me that I'm going to be touring with him. First of all, it's a great honor because obviously he's putting his name on the line, having me as his special guest.
Right.
So it's an honor to be considered, good enough to do that in the first place. So, yay for me in terms of, I guess I'm doing okay on the guitar, as he likes to call it. And, but also to just get out there and tour for a month with my friend is fantastic. And and the fact that we already did that with UFO.
Right.
So the fact that he wanted me, to come with him for another month again is great. So we enjoy, hanging out. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Levins, you're awfully quiet for an unusual amount of time.
I got people emailing me and messaging me. I'm trying to answer questions and stuff.
Oh, for God's sakes. You're killing me, child. So now, speaking of the other Vinnie, the other Vinnie plays on your record, correct?
Yes, Vinnie Abbott is on the record. Yes, he's in 8 out of 10 songs. Yeah.
8 out of 10 songs.
Yeah.
Now, which one's Apathy and which one's A Piece? I know they both say it different.
Vinnie Apathy and Carmine A Piece. And Carmine,
there we go. Okay.
Carmine was Apathy, but Rod Stewart called him A Piece, and he left it there.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Drop.
I have heard that. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked Vinnie that the night of your show when we were there, and I asked him, and he knew obviously before I even got to that. I'm like, Vinnie, so what is the deal? And he just started answering my question before, and that's exactly what he said. It was Rod Stewart that whole thing.
I mean, it really is as simple as that. And they have so many family members, and there's some of them that call themselves a peachy. I think the grandmother said a peachy. So, a peachy, a piece, apathy, it all works. It's
absolutely.
They're all one big fun-loving family.
So he did 8 of 10 songs on the Evil Enough, correct?
Yes.
And then you had your good friend Brent Woods on that as well, I saw.
Well, Brent Woods produced the record.
And he played guitar on it too, correct?
No.
None of it? No, he didn't play.
I play every guitar on my record.
I thought he played rhythm on that.
No, you just saw him in the Antidote video playing rhythm, but no.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I
play every guitar on that record. There's no other guitarist on the record.
Well, I was wondering about that because I know on stage it's just you, and that. But I was wondering about that. But I knew that you guys were friends, and I knew he had something to do with your record too. So you got
he produced it. Yeah,
you got two decent hitters, in your corner right out of the chute for a young lady only being into this business for 6-7 years.
Well, also on my record, you've got Tony Mcalpine. I don't know if you know who that is.
That's true. Yeah. That's right. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah. So how did all that come about?
Well, they're all friends of mine. So when I decided for years, and so when I decided to do this professionally, and I wrote the record, and I was like, okay, I can play all the instruments. And when I do my demos, I do them all myself because I play the drums, I play everything. So I give them complete demos to learn. And I basically gave my friends the demos, and I said, hey, check it out. If you like what I wrote and you want to participate, I'd love for you to be a guest on my record, because even though I can play all these instruments, my expertise is in guitar. So I want someone that does nothing but drum do the drumming. Someone that does nothing but bass, play bass, etc. You can be a jack of all trades and be good at many things, but to be an expert at one thing, it's got to be your focus. So when I wrote the songs also, I had Vinnie's drums in my head. I had, I know who I know, and I can, ask if you want to participate. And I think what I write is actually really good. So I didn't think they would say no, and nobody said no. Everyone said yes. So I've got, Vinnie Abbott. I've got Glenn Sobel playing drums on 2 tracks. He's with Alice Cooper.
Right.
And he's more of a progressive drummer. So I needed him for those 2 tracks that are very progressive. And I needed a couple of keyboard solos for those tracks. So I called in my friend Tony Mcalpine, who is known for his super guitar shred, but he's also a classically trained pianist and is a phenomenal piano player. So I wanted him to do the keyboard solos on those 2 tracks, for example. And, you know, I literally cast each song for what I wanted to hear. And I just happened to know the people that I wanted to do it. So that was just phone calls, dinner out, you know, a text. Hey, you want to do this? Take a listen.
Cool.
And everybody came in, and, you know, it was one hell of a thing to schedule, to get everybody into the studio and stuff. But I did it. It took a long time, but I did get it done. So there it is.
Very cool.
Yeah, well, cool, because Tony Mcalpine now has played with 2 Lynches. So that's pretty cool.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's not related to George.
No.
I'm asked that all the time. It's a great, great compliment, and I appreciate it, because wow, George is phenomenal, and certainly, you know, one of my guitar heroes as well. So, you know, I don't mind it, but there's absolutely no relation at all whatsoever.
Cool. So when did you get into this whole music thing and decide this is what you wanted to do? Because I know from talking to you and stuff, you've got a son who's older now and such, and
two sons, 2 adult sons.
Right. Yeah. And you know, this is a later in life kind of thing. And how'd you get involved with all this?
Well, I mean, you know, I'd love to give you I put my dreams on hold answer. I sacrificed. Where? The fact of the matter is that music has always been my favorite thing in the universe since I was born. I came out musically. You know, by the time I was 3, I was singing everything you could possibly imagine that I heard come on the radio. Instead of playing outside, I was inside waiting for the playlist to loop again on every radio station, to hear that favorite song again. You know, rock and roll has always been my favorite kind of music. So I come from the Led Zeppelin and the Alice Cooper and the, you know, Judas Priest, and, you know, all of those kinds of things. Black Sabbath, obviously. And I was heavily influenced by those guys. By the time I was 10, I really wanted to play guitar. And my brother played, but he's almost 6 years older and didn't want me to touch it, thought that, you know, a 10-year-old touching it would break it. So I snuck it when he was out. He caught me one day, and instead of killing me, he said, "How the hell did you learn to play like that?" I'm self-taught at everything.
That's
for whatever reason, I was born that way and just wired that way. So every instrument I play is completely self-taught.
That's very impressive.
So he gave me the guitar, went and got himself a new one, and I never put it down since. So that happened when I was 11, when he gave it to me. And, you know, basically I always played, but I didn't want to do it professionally until I did. I literally just did not feel like it. I wanted to, you know, I'm a woman, and you have to realize that you only have a certain amount of time in your life to be able to make a family, for example.
Sure.
I always wanted a family. I wanted to have kids and be a mom and stuff like that. So, you know, that was just as much of a dream as anything else. So it's like, okay, do you do that now, or do you do that later, or do you just go with it? Well, I just went with it, and basically, you know, met the love of my life really young, and still married to him. And we've had our ups and downs, but we're still married. And true love doesn't exist, everybody. It really does.
Yeah.
But this whole album screams of the problems we've had. But, you know, it's amazing thing to come full circle. But, you know, we had our kids when we planned to have them. We wanted to be together for a while. So 13 years into the relationship before we had our first kid. We've had the 2 kids. I've only been pregnant twice. You know, it was very much planned. We had the 2 kids, and then, you know, I was working at the time doing like accounting type stuff, and then I closed down my business doing that to focus on these kids, and raised them up until a point where it was like, okay, so now they're older. Now they're more self-sufficient. They can make themselves something to eat. They can, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't need me every second anymore.
Sure.
I would not be the kind of mother that would leave them to go on tour when they still required assistance and get some kind of a nanny or something.
Right.
So I was like, no, I was always home with them. So basically, they got older and I started like traveling a little more and having fun, with my girlfriends and stuff like that. We'd go on those concert cruises and that's how I met the Beyond the Labyrinth guys. And then, they asked me to come record. And then I came back from that. And I'm like, I just recorded on someone else's record. I'm very much involved with a lot of people in this business anyway, on a personal level. Maybe I'll go ahead and write a record. It's time. I mean, I've been playing guitar for my whole life. And so I decided to do that. It was just that natural. And yes, it was later for that reason. I did all the other stuff first because I wanted to.
There you go.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So your brother, you said, was 6 years older. So you were 11. So he'd be about 17. So he was the one turning you on to Zeppelin and
No.
God,
no. He was sitting around going do fucking America and Kenny Loggins and
really
a lot of great rock and roll staples, but not really my cup of tea. He hated anything heavy. He couldn't stand Black Sabbath. He couldn't stand AC/DC. He couldn't stand anything I listened to. But he played the instrument, and I always wanted to make the music, So when he caught me playing, I think I was probably jamming on some Zeppelin or Sabbath or something. And he was like, what the hell?
So where did that influence come from then?
What?
Your musical influences.
The rock and roll influence?
Well, yeah, the Zeppelin and the heavier stuff.
My aunts, my family, my Aunt Arlene, who's, she was just a few years older than my brother. So, yeah, okay. Probably my aunts, we're into probably my Aunt Arlene mostly. But cool. also just hearing it, just flipping around the radio stations and hearing it. And I was like, oh, that grabs me. That moves me. It's always been about what moves me. I like all kinds of music, but that's the stuff that moves me the most.
See, and that's how I kind of, found my way along, because I didn't have an older sibling that got me into UFO, for instance, we'll say, back in the day. I didn't find UFO until later, and some of these other bands I didn't find until later. And I'm still discovering things, every day I'm discovering something new, whether it be an older band or whether it be a newer up and coming band, and I think that's part of the fun, is the hunt, to be honest with you. You can't flip the radio on anymore and find that cool tune, but you can sure as hell flip on YouTube and check something out, and then that'll lead you to something else and lead you to something else. And next thing you know,
absolutely
rolling across that,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's amazing how that happens. I mean, I definitely attribute the ability to be on YouTube, social media, and things like that to being able to get the word out about my music and get it out there enough that, I can just show up in, like I did in 2018 in Germany to play a show. And there was somebody wearing my t-shirt in the front row already. They bought it on the way in and had it on there, and we're singing along with everything I played.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
That's the power of the internet. That's the power of being able to do what you couldn't do years ago. And travel like that years ago.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that would be, I guess, like the ultimate form of flattery. I'm assuming you both obviously can speak about it. I can't, but to have somebody in the front row wearing your shirt, singing back to you your song has got to be the ultimate form of flattery.
I mean, you can call it flattery, but I call it symbiosis, because I'm moving them.
What that means, though.
Symbiosis means it makes us both happy. What it means is I'm giving them as much as they're giving me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm moving them the same way I was moved by all my heroes that I went and saw in concert or heard for the first time. And it is the most joyful feeling to see that, my songs make someone feel really good and make them want to sing along and rock out the way they do. And to go touring all around the world like I've done and see people in every corner.
Yeah, that's a huge blessing.
Europe, UK, Ireland, and everywhere over there.
Yeah.
Singing along and loving it. And my God, buying all this merch on the way in instead of the way out. Wow.
Right.
Before I even hit the stage, there were a lot of existing fans that I open up for people, and I still open for people because I want to pick up. I'm still building my audience. I only have the one record. So I feel like it's not really appropriate to headline yet. And I don't know what kind of pull I have for that yet. Well, now I do.
Sure.
Now I definitely have a clue about that. So things are going to be changing in terms of the way I tour going forward. I'm also going to be releasing some new material. Vinnie Abbott is on drums again, and
awesome.
Bjorn England on bass on a couple of tracks. And we're going back into the studio with Brent Woods, hopefully, schedule allowing. I'm actually going to be calling him about that because we need to do it soon. And then I'll be putting out my new releases, and we're shooting a video, and then, I'll get back out on the road again, hopefully in the fall. If not in the fall, then the start of 23. But, as far as I've learned now, I could probably book a lot differently.
Very cool.
Are you on your own label? Are you on an independent label? Or
I have kept it on my own label.
Very good.
I am in total control. Yep. Yeah, well, I have a problem with people telling me how to do things. So
I don't get that about you at all.
It's my way or no way. So that's why the band is called Tara Lynch, and it's not a band of people. It's solo artist with whoever.
Because the last time I saw you, we talked, and I commented that you had different members in your group, and you said you just pick up as you need. You've got different people that can just jump in and play for you, and you don't have to have a certain set band.
Nope.
So that's very cool.
Oh yeah, very. And it's good to be able to have that look. I guess it is a luxury, but being able to have that, at your disposal.
Well, I mean, the good news is there's a line of guys just waiting to play those songs. They love it. It's really fun. On this last run especially, I was really, really tickled by the drummer, for example, is a great drummer called Roberto Parami, and he played for Vinnie. So Vinnie and I shared a drummer on this run, and we also shared the bass player, and they had to learn all of my material. But it was really neat to see Roberto enjoying what he was playing so much. He loves my song Cringeworthy, for example, and every time I would play Cringeworthy, he's sitting there drumming it, but at the same time he's smiling from ear to ear just watching me perform the song, like having a ball. Like, I'm so happy I get to do this. And that was such a wonderful experience for me. Not that everybody that plays behind me doesn't have a good time, because they always do, including Vinnie Abbott. But it was so wonderful, because this was a unique situation where I shared a band. I had not done that before ever. I've always had my own guys that I bring in to learn my material only, and all of that. So this was a unique situation in Europe this time, which made the tour easier, because we shared a lot of transportation and stuff like that. So
no doubt, and everybody used pretty much the same stuff. There wasn't a lot of takedown and
a lot of with the back line and stuff like that. So it was one drum set, not two. It was so much easier that way, and certainly
anything to make life easier.
Absolutely, yeah. So, but I did bring in my own guy from London, Simon Caviani, who played with me on the UFO tour as well, as my rhythm guitarist and backup singer, because he is phenomenal, and I wanted to have him specifically. That's the one where I can't share, and I always have to have my person that I pick, and I have a few guys that I use for that. And in Europe, Simon is my guy. So
okay,
yeah.
So now you were talking about going back into the studio here shortly and whatnot. Now, do you go in all together and do it old school, or do you go in and do it remotely?
We go in together, and Vinny's banging on those drums, and I'm outside the window pushing the button half the time, and then yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Chris, is that how you do it?
No, we play live.
Okay, but you're all in the same room though, right?
Yeah, unless I'm doing unless I'm singing at the same time, then I would go in another, an isolated room. That way it won't bleed in over anything else. But most of the time we're all in the same room together with everything in, it's separate isolated rooms, except the drums.
So do you guys, no, go ahead, Tara.
When you have a band and it's the same guys playing together all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
Then you can do that.
Exactly.
But when I have two different drummers on different tracks, and I've got all, two different bass players, and I've got all these different guys coming in, we all go into the studio and we play together, but it's got to be at different times. It's not one band. You can't, impossible.
Exactly. Oh, I did that too back in 2005. So,
but they're not doing it at home and emailing it. That's another way people do things that no.
Yeah. So that to me, and again, I don't.
Yeah, with me there.
Yeah, I don't have the experience, obviously, that you two do on this, but to me, that just seems impersonal, and it just seems like, I don't know. You just get up in the morning in your PJs, you got your cup of coffee, you lay a few things down, then you send it off to an email, and then you get it, you put it in, and
I mean, I don't know because I've never done that, so I don't know anything about that.
I just think there's more of a vibe. I know you don't have a full-time band. But
yeah, but we're all in the studio together. In other words, we're there together and we're recording. But as far as the people that choose to mail it in, so to speak,
yeah,
sometimes they do that because logistically,
right,
you just can't otherwise. For example, R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins, but when he does Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Rider, and he's got Joe Walsh on a track, and he's got Chrissie Hynde on a track, and he's got Roger Taylor on a track, all these people aren't going to come in and do the world thing and have all these people in the studio at one time. And I have all these different guys on my record. They're not all going to be in there at once, but I'm there, Brent's there, and whoever's recording that day, like Phil and Vinnie, for example. Vinnie Abbott and Phil Susan, they're there together. When you hear Antidote start, we're all together live in the studio.
And even though you're not a full-time band, I was going to say, even though there's not a full-time band there, you still have that gel between you guys that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important.
I don't think you get that when you email it in.
No, but then again, you hear.
I understand it. I understand.
There's probably a lot of records you like that were mailed in and you didn't know.
And that could very well be.
Like the old Motley Crue records, for example. I see that thing on your wall, Blevin. I see Aleister Crowley.
Oh, yeah, Aleister Fiend.
I see Aleister Fiend, whatever it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, they've been mailing it in for, the last several records. I mean, there's a lot of bands that do that, so I don't want to knock that whole thing either because it is a more cost-effective way to do business. I definitely spent a lot more money on my record than I had to because I wanted everybody there together.
I just think
at one time,
I just think you get more of a personal feel that maybe you wouldn't get if you mailed it in. Because
you, the end user, the listener, would not be able to have told the difference.
And I'm sure that's true.
So I get a better feeling out of it because I wrote all those songs.
Right.
And I hear all my words and all of my music being played, and I'm able to say I need another fill or give me another, let's do a little more hi-hat on this or a little more whatever. I'm able to say whatever I can say to help co-produce, the song and the record. As well as Brent being there to be able to guide and stuff like that, as opposed to taking a mailed in track and then doing that whole chippity choppity thing that people do in the studio.
Right. And I'm not talking about me being able to discern the difference. I'm talking about you as the musician being able to have that personal connection to,
Absolutely.
Maybe you get a little more feeling out of, you get a little more bass feeling out of Phil because he's standing right there that he might have not maybe got into that pocket when he was at home in his PJs.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing, having them mail it in. I never would have had the hair stand up on the back of my neck when they started in. I wrote Antidote, and I couldn't wait to hear them play it in the studio. I couldn't wait to record.
There you go.
I had Phil and Vinnie sitting there, and all of a sudden they started, and it was amazing. I was like, ooh, it was so awesome. Yeah. You don't get that mailing it in. It's true, but that's only for the people recording. In other words, you wouldn't be able to pass that Pepsi challenge if I said, okay, listen to this record by Metallica. Was it in the studio or mailed in? You would not be able to tell.
Right. No, I wouldn't be. But I'm just, from your standpoint, I think there's got to be so much more of a.
In the last couple of decades, 99% of the shit is mailed in these days by the bigger, more corporate bands.
And is that because they don't want to be in the same room with each other? No,
because studio time costs money, honey, and the label figured out.
But don't a lot of these guys have their own studios, though, too?
Well, yeah, exactly. And so
a lot of them engineer
to send an email than it does to have them come in, book time, and when you're there together, conversations happen, the clock is ticking. They're not going to turn the clock off in the studio that you're recording in just because you're having a conversation. So labels save a lot of money by having people mail it in. Plus, a lot of these bands that have been together this many years is very dysfunctional, and they don't want to hang out.
Yeah,
they want to just mail it in, and they only see each other to play live.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of sad too. But
that is sad. That's very sad.
Not my problem.
No, and that's true, because it seems like the two times that I have seen you for one are enjoying the shit out of yourself on stage. You're having a ball.
Oh yeah, thank you.
But the guys that I've seen that back you up, the skinny guy playing bass, the taller kid,
that's all kid, Zach. Yeah,
Zach. He is nothing but smiles the entire time.
Yep. He's having a ball up there. That's why I love him. I mean, he's a great player. He's a great player, but his personality wins.
Yeah, these guys, I can tell they're having fun with you playing this.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
That's and see, now that I feed off of.
Yeah.
As a fan, I feed off of that positive energy. If I go see you and you're up there and you're just, and you're, doing this and, and that takes away from,
You definitely don't play guitar. If I was doing that, it would be one note.
Well, hypothetically, then, how's that?
That was cute.
He can't even play one note.
He can play like one string, boom, 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 boom.
Exactly. But yeah, no, hypothetically though, I mean, I feed off of that as a fan. So when I see you having fun, I enjoy myself more than if you're up there just going through the process.
That's right. That's right. And, that's why I picked the people I picked to play with me, because, believe me, there's a line of 17 miles long of guys that would love the opportunity to join me, and back me up on stage. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to say. And I really do appreciate that. And, I just find the cream of the crop and take my pick. And it often has to do with, scheduling. And just because I have Zach on one show and I've got a guy called Gabriel on another show, it's all about scheduling and who's available, because they all work for a lot of different solo artists or bands or whatever. And It's about, it's about the timing and the scheduling of the tour and who's available to do what, Yeah. I mean, look, if Joe Lazarus, who has played with me before, if he was available to do the European tour with me, he would have been on it.
Okay.
I would have absolutely had him behind me, but he was with already booked with Transatlantic out there in the UK doing a tour. So, I then decided, okay, I'll happily, use Roberto, Vinnie's drummer, and that worked out beautifully, Yeah. So here's another super talented guy that is in my pool of musicians to back me up if I'm doing a tour in Europe and I need a drummer. And Joe's not available again because he's, touring with whomever at the time because he's super, super, super amazing. Same with Roberto, one or the other, or they could both not be available. And then I have somebody else. So it's basically, as a solo artist, you end up playing with a lot of really cool people, based on availability and obviously skill level, because they all have to be top to play.
Definitely a business of who you know.
It is. It absolutely is. I'll never say it's not. It's absolutely. There are a lot of people probably just as talented as any of us are, or more so, that don't go anywhere and do anything because they don't exist in the right environment to even be able to meet the people they need to meet to be able to do
exactly.
And
it's very disheartening about that,
Well, it's sad, but the thing is that I can tell you, no matter where my lily white ass sat, I would have gotten it done regardless, because I had the drive and I had the desire to do so. Regardless, it would have been done. So I say to those people that are stuck in, I don't know, Podunk, Iowa, or wherever they're sitting on their farm field or whatever, if it's something you really, truly want to do, then you have to do what I did in the beginning. Because in the beginning, it was all on the internet. Get on there, spread the love, spread it around. And that's before I cast my album. That's before I released it. So nobody knew who my friends were and nobody knew who was recording with me. But I put videos out there. I just threw myself out there in the social media universe saying, I'm writing these songs. What do you think of this lick? Okay. And that right there began what is now my fan page on Facebook that's got over 100,000 people on it. My Spotify's got over 40,000 people on it, so on and so on and so on. So if you don't know people, still throw yourself out there, and then, do what a lot of people have done. Live out of your fucking car. Go to where the music is at. Go to Nashville. Go to Los Angeles. Go to the places you have to go. Do what you got to do. Eat dog food. If it really means that much to you. Don't sit on your head going, I'm a good guitarist, but I don't know anybody, so I'm not going anywhere, because that's bullshit too.
Hey, Arnel Pineda didn't know anybody before Neil Sean found him, and look where he's at now.
Exactly. So that's, I don't feel too bad for those people, quite frankly, that don't know people. But it sure is a lot easier when you do. And I happen to already live in Los Angeles, work in the entertainment field, and met a lot of people along the way, just naturally. So it was just easier for me to say, hey, I want my favorite drummer of all time to record on my record. I happen to know him.
That's killer.
I want to do this. And he goes, yeah.
So shifting gears, do either of your boys take interest or follow in your footsteps, Mama?
No.
No?
No, they're writers, like novel writers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They're all about the pen. Yeah.
Very cool.
They're amazing. They both have perfect pitch, and they both have the ability. When they were younger, my younger son played a lot of the woodwinds, and my older son, he can play piano. He took guitar lessons, but he just wasn't interested. He didn't practice. He was that kid that took lessons and then put it down and never picked it up again until the next lesson, and didn't practice and didn't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, they're not going to be musicians.
Do they follow the same taste in music that you do?
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they like all the good stuff, and then they like the stuff that I'm not crazy about. But my older son, gets into some of that crazy growly metal stuff that I don't care for, where it sounds like the Cookie Monster's got the microphone, and
that's what we call not your cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. No, gotta say
exactly.
No, it's not musical enough for me anymore when they're just like belching.
Yeah, I'm fully vested in that theory that the growling is just not a form of entertainment musically.
Obviously, look, there's a lid for every pot, right?
They say so, yes.
I guess it does something for some people because there's certainly a big market out there for it. You know, they've got festivals where they do nothing but growl. So, you know,
No doubt.
I guess people have a lot of angst that they want to hear, like,
especially over in Sweden.
Hey, relax. No, that's just the death metal.
That's not. But sir, that's not. Don't blanket Sweden with growl because
no,
I'm making fun of him because
he's giving me shit
from Sweden.
Oh, well, because
he likes the melodic stuff, not the growling stuff.
Okay, because I was going to say Ghost is a Swedish band and they are phenomenal. And you can't get more musical than Tobias Forge with Ghost. I mean, what a phenomenal writer and performer. They're amazing.
I will put Stradivarius or Nightwish or Hammerfall or my list goes on and on. Ed Guy against any of these growlers that you want to, any day of the week.
If I knew who any of those bands were, I would agree with you, I'm sure, but
it's all European.
Exactly.
It's
Euro trash. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all European.
Oh, come on. It can't be trash.
No.
I know that I've heard the names. I just haven't heard the music yet.
It's
so much. I only have 24 hours in the day. There's so much.
It's mostly power metal, the power metal genre. So the big heavy keyboards with the guitar. A lot of them are female fronted, but not all. But hey, look, not all bad coming out of Sweden. They're smart ass. Because Eric Grönwall from Heat is now the lead singer of Skid Row. And that's the best singer they've had since Sebastian Bach left.
Cover band.
Did he just call Skid Row a cover band?
He did.
The guys that are still in it wrote the songs, right?
Doesn't matter. They don't have
a cover band.
They don't have Bach.
But Bach didn't write a fucking thing.
He's just giving me a hard time.
But Bach always does Skid Row.
Bach just sang pretty.
Yeah.
He sang his ass off too.
But the guys that wrote the music,
like he did,
they own the name because they're the ones that actually wrote the songs that people are
That's
liking.
right. Yes. You hear that? Shut up.
That's why they book bigger venues than Bach does when he goes out solo. And I hate saying that because my personal friend plays with him, but I'm just saying.
But no, you're 100% right. But I will say this much, and like I said a minute ago, the new singer they got now is from the band Heat, and he's amazing vocalist. And if you've heard anything that they've done since he's been with them, he's killing it.
Great.
He really is. He's killing it.
Congratulations to the Skid Row boys who,
yeah,
I just went to bat for, but don't know those guys. There are some guys I don't actually know. But I know that the guys in that band have the name because they wrote the music. Kind of like Queensryche. Same thing.
Yeah, but Queensryche is and going on that tangent, Queensryche's not the same without Chris DeGarmo.
I agree.
Or Jeff Tate.
Well, Jeff Tate aside, without DeGarmo and Wilton together, it's just not the same. Period.
It's definitely a different recipe. It absolutely is. But my point is, they still deserve to go out and play the songs.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Nobody said
they own the name. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anyway. That all being said, everybody, about these bands who've busted up and all this crap. That's why I'm Tara Lynch. And that's why I've got lots of people that play with me and not a band.
So unless you've got multiple personalities, you're not going to.
I write everything myself.
Is that right?
Of course.
No. I mean, is that you didn't hear what I said? I said unless you have multiple personalities, you're not going to split up with yourself then.
Exactly. I wish I could clone myself. It'd be a lot easier. I could have Tower number 1 and Tower number 2 and Tower number 3 singing the harmonies and the backups and all of this. That would be really nice.
Hours in the day.
Another tower on guitar, on the other guitar, the rhythm. It would be a fantastic. Sounds just like a.
So how does your husband do with you going on the road and stuff? Does he go with you at all, or?
He is my biggest fan.
Yeah.
This guy's got a tattoo of me on his arm from here to here.
Oh my God. Nice.
Oh yeah. He loves his wife, and he comes out to every tour, at least to one show.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he was in London. He was in Dublin, Ireland. He came out on this one. He was at the Amsterdam show. He was at the ITRA show in Belgium, and Helmond in the Netherlands as well. And he's come out. He's come out to the Last in Line runs. He was in Houston.
Very cool.
Played there a few months ago, and yeah, he's
that's awesome.
Always rocking a Tara Lynch shirt, and
nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Very proud of me. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. That's very important. I know Chris has the same thing. He's got a very supportive wife and daughter.
Good. That's important.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this: if my family wasn't supportive, I would not have done it.
Mm-hmm.
When I decided to do it, I actually had everybody sit down at a table together.
I was going to ask you that if this was like a sit down with the big spaghetti meatball dinner kind of thing here,
I said, I'm thinking about actually doing this professionally now that you kids don't need me every second anymore. And it's Mom, get out of here. When I come in, I'm like, hey, want to hang out? And they're like, too old. And they're like, get out of here. Exit. Okay. So if you're telling me to exit, then I can exit right onto a stage now, and I can go and record a record and do this, that I was born to do. So I sat them down and I said, I'm thinking about doing this professionally. If I do it, it will take. There is nobody that is currently out there or ever out there that does what I do completely. So plenty of ladies with guitars out there, but they don't play like I do. They don't write all the songs like I do. They don't also sing while they're playing lead like I do. In fact, there's only a very few people that do that at all in the world, male or female, or whatever the fuck you want to call it in between. There's only a very small handful of people. And that's probably the thing that impresses me the most when fans come up to me after a show and they're like, how the fuck do you play lead and sing the way you do?
Well, especially playing the way you do,
Exactly.
You're not an AC/DC corded chick. I mean, you're in there. You're involved. You're heavily involved in what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's advanced level playing, and I'm singing, and so you basically you've got a few guys that do it. You've got Mark Knopfler, you've got Lindsey Buckingham, you've got people like Richie Watson, fantastic. There's just a very small handful of people, but I knew it would take number
Jimmy
one because what's that?
That's a Jimmy.
Of course, Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. But again, you look where you had to go. It's a very small handful of people. You couldn't name 10. Go ahead and try. It's not going to happen. You can't name 10 people that do that in the history of music. So that's why I knew it would take, because it's so rare. And also, I believe in the music I write. It's actually good. It's something I would buy and listen to if I were just the listener. I go, wow, that's great. That's right up my alley. Because I love all of that kind of stuff, classic heavy metal. And I like to think that that's what I write, is basically classic heavy metal. It's a throwback, but even though it's got a modern sound, but it's definitely classic.
I consider it a neoclassical metal.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, again, right back to classic heavy metal.
Right.
If you go back to the Iron Maidens and the Judas Priests and the Ozzies and the Dios and, even way back to Sabbath, Tony Iommi is a huge influence of mine. A lot of my heavy rhythm sound is absolutely influenced by Tony. My lead playing, is influenced by guys like Uli John Roth from when he was with the Scorpions. I love that stuff. I mean, that's my favorite stuff, you know.
Right.
So anyway, that's kind of the wheelhouse that I write in. And you know, it is, I think, so wonderful for me to be able to bring that kind of sound back also, you know, because when you look at metal today, it's a lot different. It's not, you know, it's a lot different.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, the point is, I knew it would work. And so I sat them down and I said, I'm going to do this. And if I do it, that means I will be in a recording studio a lot. I will be on tour a lot. Are you okay with this? Really think about it and really consider it, because it will happen if I decide to share what I do with people.
Right.
It will happen. And so, you know, my youngest was a little reserved about it at first, but my older son and my husband were like, hell yes. And then my younger son came around and he was like, you know what? Yeah, I can handle it. Do it. And so, you know, here I am. And they love what I do. And they are very supportive. My younger son thinks I sing like shit, though. He hates my voice.
Well,
He's like a wounded animal. And I tend to agree with him, but fortunately, most people don't. That's why Mark Bowles does 2 tracks on my album. I wasn't going to sing. I write all the songs, I play all the guitars. I was going to call my friends in for the other instruments to record. And I started by having Mark record Trustless and Evil Enough. Those were the first 2 that we recorded. And then when it came time to do Banished from My Kingdom, you know, I show up at the studio and Vinnie flings the door open and he says, Tara, that's you singing on the demo? And I said, yeah. And he goes, give me one good reason why you're not singing on your own album. And I'm like, because I sound like a frog or something. I don't like female voices in that genre. Never appealed to me personally. Okay. I did not like the only one that gets a pass for me is Doro Pesh. The rest, I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. It just sounded weird to me. It's more of a masculine thing. So that's why I never intended to do it. So anyway, they harassed me all day and talked me into it. And I said, okay, I'll record the vocals for Banished. And if I like the way it sounds, when it's done, then I'll do the rest. And so I did that. And I was like, you know, it actually is pretty good. Doesn't suck. I don't sound like the other ladies at all.
Right.
Which all sound the same to me a lot. They really do. So I don't sound like that. I have a weird, maybe that's why my son hates my voice. It's very weird. It's definitely its own thing. So I'm like, you know what? Okay. And then I did the rest. And then, oh my God, it occurred to me I had to learn how to sing and play guitar at the same time. I did not do that yet.
Oh, yeah.
After I recorded the record. And I was like, oh, shit. So I locked myself in this room in my home studio here and just lined it all up in my head and just made it happen. Figured it out. So in April, and by November, I was playing in Germany to people singing along.
Wood shit.
Yeah. That's killer. That's very killer.
Yeah.
We are about out of time. We need to find out where everybody can check you out, and you know, any tours coming up soon.
Well, I just wrapped one up, so I don't have any new dates to announce yet, but there will be.
Any one-offs or anything?
Nope, not as of yet. Right now, everything has changed so dramatically in terms of my ability to book shows that I have a lot of choices to make and a lot of options to explore. So I'm doing that at the current time. In the meantime, a couple of months from now, you will have new releases, and then tour dates will be announced right after that.
Very cool. Very cool. Where can everybody check you out? I mean, I know on
Lynch.com.
Okay.
Tara Lynch Official on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, excuse me, Twitter. I think I inhaled my water.
Down the wrong part.
anyway.
Well, cool. And then are you on all the streaming?
Spotify, yeah. Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all of them. Wherever you can hear music, wherever it's sold and wherever it's streamed, I'm there.
Yeah, and if you just type in Tara Lynch on YouTube, it's the first thing that pops up. So
that's the first thing that pops up. Absolutely.
That's right.
And the album,
there's a CD out there to buy too. So if you want a hard copy,
that's right. The album, Evil Enough. It's a great record, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like I said, I was pleasantly surprised when I stumbled upon you when I went to see the Last in Line and was like, "Who's this Tara Lynch person?" It's Tara. Oh, okay, it's Tara. Okay, so who's this Tara Lynch person?
Which is exactly why I'm still going out and opening for bands like that, because
getting a name out there.
It's an existing audience, but you want to keep building it one fan at a time. And every time I play a show for someone else's audience, I pick up new fans.
Absolutely. And and that's kind of why we do this, because Chris is in a band, and they're trying to build steam and get their things going, and they got a new record they're getting ready to do and stuff like that. And so one of the things we do a lot is, we go for the smaller independent folks to try and help spread the word out there and get that word out. We're not a big podcast, but we're trying to gain ground that way. So anybody that I can turn on to your music, I will. Like Chris, we'll be out there spreading that word. And hopefully, we get a bunch of people that check you out because of what they've seen and on here,
Thanks.
And, yeah. And when you come back to town, hopefully in the near future, come back to town and we'll get to go out and check you out again.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to the new music.
Thank you.
Yeah. But it was a pleasure talking to you. I had a very good time talking to you.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck with everything coming up. Can't wait for the new music and the new tour and stuff like that. It sounds like it's going to be great.
Thanks.
Things are looking up for you, it sounds like.
They've only gone up, and that's the only way I go.
Well, there we go. That's awesome.
That song, Guitar Rises, upward only.
There we go. That's awesome. But like I said, thanks for being on, Tara. We very much appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Take care.
Absolutely. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody. That's Tara Lynch, and we will be back on next Wednesday with Mr. Sebastian Labar from Tantric, lead guitar player. And I got some more dates I'm working on. Got a couple people, John LeRae, the drummer for Tantric, working on a date with him. Scott Coogan, who's now back with is with Stephen Piercy. And
now is he still playing for LA Guns?
No. They went back to Sean, and then Sean left. Well, that Sean left again. The blonde, long-haired blonde. Anyway, he left, and now Sean Duncan, whose brother played in Armored Saint, is playing the drums. He also played in the band C4, and he's played in some other stuff too. So yeah, so the new LA Guns drummer is Sean Duncan, SHAWN Duncan, DUNCAN. So yeah, I interviewed him years ago on my first podcast. So yeah, he's a cool cat. So yeah, he's the new drummer. He's the one they picked to go out on the road with him this time. And so we'll see how that is. I know the last time I saw them, and Scott had just joined the band, Coogie Monster, and Johnny Martin kept turning around going, like, in other words, bring the fucking tempo up, bitch,
Right.
That, which I mean, Coogan's he's a beast, man. He's a
very good drummer.
Oh man, he's a professional.
Hell, he plays with Tiffany, for God's sakes.
Oh yeah, not just that, he's also played in the Blue Man Group.
Now, see, that I did not know.
Yes, he was part of the Blue Man Group. So yeah, but yeah, so we're gonna have them on, and
I'm still working on a few myself, so hopefully that's gonna
Mr. Keith is working
fall into place here soon.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody tune in. Just remember, it's most of the time on Wednesday night. Sometimes we have some some hiccups, and we have to do certain times, like Sam Spade from the metal the
Night Devils.
Had to have him on Wednesday because he left out today going on tour. Yeah, Wednesday, Monday. Damn it, I got to get my days straight. Anyway, had him on Monday because today, Wednesday, he was leaving to go out on tour again, and he will be back. They will be out with Enough's Enough for a few weeks. Pretty Boy Floyd, and their first show is going to be at the King of Clubs this Friday night. So definitely that's going to be fucking cool.
What the fuck is that noise?
Oh, somebody's hitting me up.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so we've got some things in the works, and hopefully next week I can get back to my cup of tea and spread the joy that I like to call European melodic metal.
There you go. Nothing wrong with it. I love it. But I love all kind of stuff. I love the Cookie Monster shit. I love the melodic stuff. I just like fucking hacking on you and shit.
I know that. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly.
This is always a treat to do with you, my friend, and I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to do it with you. So, I'll take your shit.
I hear you. But like you were talking about doing different having people in different areas and recording and shit like that. We've done the same thing. I usually come home and do my vocals, but that's easier. The band has already played music, and then I do vocals on at home by myself. But the same thing happened with, and I can't remember the name of the band, but it was Jeff Tate just did it with that guy that's over in Italy a couple years ago. I think it was like 2019. I can't remember the name of the project, but
Sweet Oblivion.
Yes, that's it. And they actually did another one too, another album.
They've got two out, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's how Jeff did his. He didn't go to Italy, and then the guy didn't come over here. They actually never even fucking met except talked on the phone before.
That's crazy.
So but hey,
I understand. Look,
easier. That's easier because it's just laying down vocals on top of something that's already
there. Like I said, I understand it. I do understand it. I just think from a musician standpoint, you don't get that opportunity to gel with your band if in fact,
Amen. So, and you can tell if it's industrialized compared to me. I can, not all, but you can tell on some things. So
right.
But yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, everybody, peace out. We're going to get off of here. I go on the road in a couple of weeks, headed to Mississippi for 3 dates, and going to have some new merch. Got a whole lot of new merch right now, but going to have some new red t-shirts.
And they're going to look good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So anyway, any of you bands out there need merch, need shirts, hit my boy up. Shit, over here.
This guy.
That way. Son of a bitch, I can't get it right.
I'm with stupid.
I'm with dumbass.
Exactly.
So anyway, but well, cool, man. I'm gonna be headed out to Friday to go see them in Columbus. So okay. So yeah, what you got going on this weekend? Don't know.
Nothing. I don't. It depends
on the graduation party.
Well, that's
next weekend.
That's next weekend. So that's why I'm thinking about maybe trying to see if I can't head up with you on Friday night, just because I won't be able to do it next weekend here at home. So.
Oh yeah, no worries. That's cool. That's cool.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Other than that, yeah, I don't have anything going on that I could think of.
All right. Well, very cool.
So.
Well, everybody, peace out. We love you. Stay away. Don't be going out there and fucking monkeys and getting the monkeypox and shit.
Right.
Stay away from that shit. However you get it, I don't know, but don't bring it to my house. But
no, because the vaccine hasn't been approved yet.
Oh, fuck the vaccine. Fuck monkeypox. Fuck these gas prices. Everybody can just kiss my ass.
Fuck it all, dude. Fuck it all,
man. Fuck it all. But anyway, I know y'all don't want to hear that shit. So anyway, like I said, love you all. Peace out. Keith Caruso.
Later, brother. It's been fun.